Hello, everyone. This is Ross from Retro Dream Beam. I'm an eBay seller full time. I've been doing this with my fiance Annetta for a couple years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to go into what we are shipping out today and Friday, so it's a couple days past Christmas. The sales have still been like pretty good, so that's been great. I guess people maybe had Christmas money or they're just, extra spending money. All right, so the first thing is going to be this playing card deck, the Natural World right here, different trees of the world. So this one was interesting because I felt bad because as I was at the storage unit, this actually sold. And I remember this lady asked me a question if all of the trees or all of the cards in the playing card deck were individual unique trees, or if it was like 4 sets of 14, for each suit. Would they have 14 different trees? She wanted a deck of cards with unique trees. Generally speaking, for playing card decks, I mean, there's so many different brands and stuff that make these things. You would be getting like, 14 images for like the clubs, and then they would redo them for the hearts. She ended up just buying it and sent me a message like, oh, hey, yeah, I just want them to be unique. And I was like, oh, I forgot to check for you. I'm sorry. And then I did look, and they were unique. Each one is a different tree, which is pretty cool. So this sold for $9.45. I sent her a message like, hey, I'm embarrassed. I forgot to check for you, but they are unique, so that's good news. So she was excited for that. All right, next up is something that Annetta listed like a month or two ago. This is a huge, big lot of 35 electrical wall plates, covers, stuff like that for some kind of contractor or something. Maybe they just needed a bunch of different kinds. Maybe there was a kind in there that they saw that they needed. It was it's ended up selling for $13.50. The weight is pretty heavy for that. It looks like the person paid almost $24 in shipping. So yeah, I think Annetta got these electrical like outlets and stuff really cheap a long time ago during the first few like auctions. She's the one that discovered the auctions and made me realize like the potential of them and how good they are. This was like, I think, an in-person auction in like 3 or 4 years ago, and we just got around to listing them now, or she did, I guess. We were just clearing up space. So it's pretty cool. It's nothing too crazy, but I know she was spent cheap money on that. All right, next up is going to be a little board game piece. I couldn't figure out what this is. This is like a black wooden board game piece. You probably can't see. And then it's like a green detailed train right there. So this, if I had to take a guess at what this is probably a first player marker token that you pass around during a board game. Maybe this is a promo or something. It looks really cool. Like the black and green really pop. Ended up selling for $9.45. So even unidentified, I still made good money on that, which is pretty cool. All right, next up is going to be a plastic tank right here. This is by Corgi. So yeah, this one looks pretty cool. Looks like, I don't know if that was like naturally dusty or if someone just like added that on with some like dry brushing with paint. But yeah, this one looks pretty cool. This sold for $12. This was not from the auction recently. This was from an auction a long time ago. So yeah, there was like a random assortment of tanks within a big box of like Hot Wheels and Matchbox and like lead and tin toy soldiers and stuff like that. There was a handful of tanks, so that's from that. I don't know if I said it, but it sold for $12. All right, next up is going to be a book, The 900 Days, The Siege of Leningrad, right here. So people like the military stuff. We do pretty well with it. We have a bunch of it. There's still like a bunch I have to list. It's just kind of like buried in the storage unit, although I've been cleaning it out recently, so I will be able to list the rest of them soon. There was just like a month or two where like all I was listing were books like this, so I just got, I guess, bored at the time. I needed to do something else. It sold for $7.49. We always get those pretty cheap. All right, next up is something that I like almost threw away just because it was so big. And I'm going to have a really hot take here about this. There's actually two things that we sold today. I'm going to have some like really burning hot takes. So this is the box only for Aeon's End Legacy. So yeah, it's a pretty good storage box. I just didn't know if I could actually like sell this one. This is a legacy game where you like go through the game, you make permanent changes and stuff. So it still has like the foam right there. It still has these boxes you would normally open up and get components, but it was all empty. Actually, it wasn't empty. This is like, it was like partially used. So I parted out the whole thing, and then the box I just ended up listing really cheap. It sold for $10. Ned and I actually played this game because I like legacy games. They're just my favorite type of board game. We were recommended this game like online and stuff if we liked like Clank, or like if you like a legacy game, or if you like a deck builder, like DC deck building. So we like Clank. It's one of our favorite games, all the different versions. So we tried this. I think like a third through, and that is like, I just don't like this game. I'm just not going to play. And I was like, okay, well, I like Legacy. So I ended up just like taking her character, and on my own, I would play it. And then the game was just like too hard, and I didn't like it that much. There was a mechanic in the game that bothered me. There would be like a deck of cards that let you know which player would get to go next, and if the like overlord, I think they're called, like the monster bosses you're trying to defeat, would go next. And there was a possibility of getting 2 overlord cards together, which meant that the game took 2 turns. And I think you could like reshuffle it if it was the end of the deck, and you can get like 2 more. I think they could get either up to 4 turns. I had some of those moments happen, and they were just like not fun. I just did not like the design. The art didn't do it for me. The deck building wasn't as fun for me, but I can see people liking it because you, instead of shuffling up your deck after it's in the discard pile, you actually, I think, just like flip it over. So you can technically, like, if you have that combo mindset, you can like build little combos. So I can see people liking that. But yeah, this was just honestly one of my least bottom 5 board games. I've played like over 1,000. So yeah, I'm saying a hot take because a lot of people love this genre. They end up making a Legacy 2. People like the base game, some of the expansions. I don't know. It just didn't work for us. It just, yeah, I didn't like like I said, the turn structure. I didn't like the arts, the aesthetics, and then I did end up not liking it after a couple versions because yeah, we had like those turns where like it was like Overlord, and she was like, yeah, that was awful. That was not fun. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna try to play it on my own to see if I change my mind, and I did not. I ended up like finishing it. I don't think I won the last boss battle, so maybe I just like picked the wrong cards or something. All right, I'm just rambling now. All right, so the next thing that sold is Remembering the Kanji 2. This is helping you learn to write kanji for Japanese. Got this from the person we got all the anime stuff from. They also had a huge box of like these kanji books because they've been learning to write and speak Japanese for a while. They just have a tutor at this point, so they didn't need this stuff. This sold for $16.87, so those were like a surprise for me. I was hoping to get like $5 each for those. It was almost just like a toss in. I think I gave like 10 or 20 bucks just for the box. I didn't even look them up there at the time. I was like, whatever, I'll buy them. He wanted me to just like drop them off at like a thrift store or something. I was like, no, I'll buy them and I'll figure it out myself. All right, next up is going to be Lighting FX. Right here, this is like a little machine that has a CD. It doesn't have like any of the cords. You have to, I think, hook it up to like a lamp. So yeah, this is some kind of vintage thing. We got this from the person that flipped storage units and the ones like where we've mostly been selling the die-cast toy police cars and stuff like that. We didn't just get the cars and stuff. That was kind of like the draw to go there to get stuff from him. That was like the main part of the palette. I still have a bunch to go through and like toy soldiers and stuff, like army men. But there was other stuff like this in there. This ended up selling for $37.49, so that's pretty cool to get a little bit like a chunkier sale from that purchase. All right, moving along, we have a lot of 10. These are like really cool. You probably can't see it. 10 metal, 10 millimeter, like military little metal. It looks like I don't know if they were like pre-painted or if someone painted them. You probably can't see too much. There's all these different types, different types of tanks, different races and stuff, or yeah, that like these represent. These only sold for $11. These were from the auction in person that I like went to recently with all the other like War Machine and stuff. So it's cool to get like another sale out of that. I thought they were pretty cool. $11 for that. All right, next up, this is my second probably burning hot take. All right, so this is a poster. Excuse me, running out of breath. Of the Pip-Boy for Fallout 4 right here. So it's just this guy. I never played any of the Fallout games, and one of the main reasons was I saw this guy and just like the aesthetics, and I don't know, just I guess turned me off. I was just like, oh, that looks awful, and I ended up playing Borderlands 1 and 2. Actually, I did play Fallout. I don't know which one. I want to say the first one for like an hour, and I ended up not liking it. So this is the poster. This poster sold for $15. It's like an official Bethesda poster for Fallout 4. People do like the Pip-Boy. Obviously, I don't. But yeah, that's like why I never really played the game. I played it an hour. I thought the like aiming mechanic was like cheating basically. I was like, oh, you can just like use your little, I think it was like the VAT system, point at their head and then like it shoots them. I'm like, oh, it just felt too, yeah, I don't know. That was my like playthrough. And after an hour, I was like, oh, this is too easy or boring or something. I just thought it was like cheaty. I like to have like a little bit of stakes at hand. I'm sure there was like a mode I could have like increased the difficulty or something. And then with the combination of this being like the mascot or like the face of the game, I was like, it just didn't do it for me. And then Borderlands Part 1 and 2, which I felt like was going into like the comic and just like the satirical like look that I actually enjoyed. It was like, I felt like, yeah, I just enjoyed that. So I ended up playing the Borderlands 1 and 2 more than this, but yeah. A lot of people love Fallout. I did like the show that Ned and I watched. She loves the game. She's played, I think, most, if not all of them. So yeah, this is a cool poster for $15. Just not my style. It just reminded me of like why I never really got into it back in the day, just because I just didn't like the look of that character. I thought it was just like weird or generic or something. All right, next up is going to be a set of 10 Viking little conductors that sit on little trains for like a little village or something like that. There's like a bunch with, I think, like a blue outfit, a bunch with like a green or gray one. I've been listing a bunch of like train stuff. Those that's like you saw expensive trains. These are like little bits and pieces that we also had. $12 for that's pretty good. So they were just sitting around. And I think the last thing, is this the last thing? Yeah, this is the last thing for the day. Paradise Kiss right here, Tokyo Pop, like anime manga right here. Don't know anything about this one. I honestly didn't even remember too much when we got this one. It was just with a bunch of other like manga books and like the box I had listed them in. This sold for $19, which is pretty good for that. All right, so that's everything. Yeah, crazy hot takes on a video game and a board game. But yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I hope you have a good weekend.